Hi again. So today we're going to talk about diffusion filters. Now, you might be thinking, what are diffusion filters? And even if you know what diffusion filters are, stick around because I'm going to be talking about a few different types of diffusion filters, how to best use diffusion filters, and also the different shapes and sizes you can get them in. So let's get into it and see what it's all about. So what exactly are diffusion filters? Now that is a really good question, and it's something, if you're new to cinematography, then you're probably struggling a small bit to understand why you'd want to use a diffusion filter and what it's for. But putting it simply, a diffusion filter is just going to take the edge off your footage. And what I mean by taking the edge off is it's still going to be sharp, but it's going to soften out the skin a small little bit. It's going to soften out just minor little details in your image. The image is still going to be sharp, and it's also going to give you lovely halation or bloom to your lighting. So I've a hair light on here now at the moment, which is actually shining up on my Formatt Hitech cap. So and by the way, this video wasn't sponsored by Formatt Hitech, but Formatt Hitech have sponsored my photography and my cinematography now too as well for quite a while. So I'm just posting this up just to say a big thank you guys, and I seriously appreciate it, and none of this would have been possible without you. So again, I haven't been paid for this, but yes, they have provided products and whatnot, but this is my honest thoughts on it. So anyway, getting back to the filters. So why would you use diffusion filters? You do use diffusion filters to take the edge off. So if you're shooting with a 4K, 6K or 8K camera, wow, the detail you're going to be producing is just going to be mind-blowing. It is just really and honestly going to be mind-blowing. Every little sinew of detail that you're shooting is going to pop, which is absolutely fantastic. But on certain scenes, let's say if you're shooting documentaries or if you're shooting landscapes and things like that, wow, amazing, awesome. If there's scenery, you really want that footage to pop. But if you're shooting people, and if you're shooting for certain types of cinematic effects, you don't want everything to pop. You'll notice in a lot of the Hollywood movies, they just don't look real. They look cinematic. And yes, that is a stupid word to use, but it does describe the type of footage I'm talking about so incredibly well. So diffusion filters are just going to bring back that sharpness, just a tiny little bit on all those minor little details. It's going to give you some lovely halation to your lighting, which I'm going to show you there in a minute. And it's going to give you lighting bloom, which is the same thing more or less. And it just gives you a defined, distinctive look that you can just pop on your camera. There's no editing required afterwards, and your footage automatically just looks a lot better. So, before we go into all that, I'm just going to talk to you quickly about the different types of diffusion filters. And yes, there are different types. When I say types, as in physical types, the types that actually go on your camera. There are different styles of diffusion filter I'm going to get into. And by the way, this is all broken down into chapters, so if you want to scoot forward to the part you're interested in, please do. So let's start with the Formatt Hitech Black Supermist diffusion filters. These are the circles. So basically these are screw-in filters. So if I just pop them out, so this is basically what you get. So this is a 77mm 1.8, I believe. Yeah, 1.8 77mm black Supermist diffusion filter. So basically what happens, it just screws onto the front of your lens and you fire away from there. These are absolutely fantastic if you're shooting lightweight on the day, if you're running and gunning and flying around the place and just don't have time to pop on a matte box and do everything else, or if you're using something like the DJI RS2, you know, it just makes it so much easier, and it gives your footage that absolutely unique look, which is the other thing. So highly recommend these. Absolutely fantastic bit of kit. So they're the circles, and again you can buy those in 4 packs, and they come in 77mm and 82mm sizes. The 4 packs come in different strengths. I'm just going to make sure I have the strengths right in this now. Yeah. So you get them in 1, you get them in half, a quarter, and 1/8. So they're the 4 different strengths you can buy it in. The kits are really good value for money. Highly recommend them. And the other thing with it too, as well as any of the Formatt Hitech products, if you are looking at buying them, the discount code HAZE10 will give you 10% off all Formatt Hitech products worldwide. So that's the other thing. Save yourself a nice bit of money, and thank you very much, Formatt Hitech, for giving me that. Right, so they're circle screw-in filters. What's the next step, Kieran? I'm looking because I have quite a few in front of me here. The next step then is your traditional 4x5.65 inch 4mm filters. Now these are serious bits of kit. If you're shooting a high-end cinema, this is what you're going to use. And again, you can buy these in varying different strengths. And they basically just slide into the side of your matte box and away you go. Absolutely fantastic product, but the really cool bit of news about these fellas is, as you can see, they're 4mm filters. Formatt Hitech are going to be bringing out a range of these over the next possibly 3 to 4 months that are going to be 2mm thick. So they're going to be 2mm black Supermist 4x5.65 inch filters. So that's really cool because I use the Firecrest Ultra Cine Super Slim filters, which are 2mm filters, the ND filters. Really good. Really, really good quality filters. So looking forward to seeing these in the 2mm. The next thing to talk to you about then is, so we've talked about the circles, while we've talked about the standard 5x6.5 inch filters. The next thing that's coming up, and the Super Slims too as well, before I forget it, the next thing that's coming up, they are going to be producing 4x4. And you might say, what? 4x4 Super Slim black Supermist diffusion filters. These little puppies. That's going to be absolutely amazing. For a few different reasons. If you're using a standard 100mm filter holder, like the Firecrest Mark II filter holder, you will then be able to just slide in your black Supermist filter into one of the slots and work away from there. So all of a sudden you can now use a diffusion filter in your 100mm filter holder. How awesome is that? And while we're talking about that, just to give you an idea of what else you can do with the Firecrest Mark II 100mm filter holder, you also can use the Firecrest Ultra Super Slim Cine filters. So basically speaking, if I'm out shooting now, I can actually slide in the Super Slim ND filter, and if I just take the light caps off there now for the hell of it. So that's the Super Slim ND filter, and then I can pop in my diffusion filter. So right now I have an ND filter and a diffusion filter in this filter holder, which I can pop onto my camera, shoot lightweight, or if I want to shoot on my gimbal. Yes, you can use this on a gimbal, and I do use it on a gimbal, and it works incredibly well. So you're getting cinema grade products in a 100mm filter holder. Now that's huge, and that's something I can't wait to see happening. So absolutely amazing news for Formatt Hitech, and really can't wait to try them out. So the other cool thing, before we go, just on the physical side of things, you're also going to be able to do the same in the 85mm filter holder. Wow. So in the 85mm filter holder, you're going to be able to buy the Super Slim black Supermist diffusion filters. So if you're shooting on a Micro Four Thirds or an APS-C camera, you don't need to go out and buy 100mm filters. You can buy an 85mm filter holder, slide your filters in, and work away from there. Again, saving you space and weight in your camera bag. So by the way, that Firecrest 85mm Mark II filter holder is absolutely amazing. Really and truly is by far and away one of the best filter holders for an APS-C or Micro Four Thirds camera you can get out there. So absolutely stunning bit of kit again, and with the possibility of being able to use this with diffusion filters and whatnot going forward. Really cool, like really cool. And also don't forget, you also have a polarizing filter too as well in these kits. So again, it's not just that you're going to be able to use an ND filter and be able to use diffusion filters, you'll also have your polarizing kit. So it's going to make cinema quality gear so much more affordable for people. So, and that's what I'm really excited about this. Now the timeline for when this is all coming out is supposed to be sometime between sort of late November and January. kind of hoping for around December. If it does, it means it's going to be out in time for Christmas, which again is going to be fantastic. So have I forgotten anything else? I haven't really for now. The next thing to go into then is the filters themselves and the different types of diffusion effect you'll get from the filters. Now, before we go any further, the one thing I should warn you about diffusion filters is, just because you go out and you buy a 1/8 strength diffusion filter doesn't mean it's going to behave the same if you're shooting at 24mm, 35, 50 or 150. The diffusion strength is going to vary depending on your focal length. Now, a lot of people don't understand that and they don't realize that. And that goes exactly the same for any diffusion filter. So the longer or shorter your focal length, the more it's going to increase or decrease the diffusion effect. Which again is why I would say to people, you probably will need something along the lines of a diffusion filter kit. So like I said, the black circles, you can buy that in 4 different, or you get that in the 4 filter kit, which is absolutely perfect. So that will definitely cover everything you want. The diffusion filters I've been using are 1/8 and 1/4 strength. And I generally find they work really, really, really well. So let's get into the diffusion filters and let's have a look and see what sort of an effect they have. So again, the light behind me here now is going to be one of the things I'm going to use to demonstrate diffusion. Not just the light, but also myself. So you're going to see my skin tones are going to soften down a small little bit. The blacks are going to get a slight little boost. You're going to get some lovely blooming on that light and some lovely halation light. And it's just going to completely change your footage. And this is just, so what we're going to do is we're going to pop on one of the black Supermist diffusion filters. And the first one I'm going to put on is the 1/8 strength. So I'm going to pop it on there now. So I just realized I'm after making a small bit of a mistake. The light behind me up there wasn't actually on full power. So I've just popped it on to full power there now. So as of yet, there is no diffusion filter on this. So we're going to pop on the black Supermist diffusion filter right now. So again, this is the black Supermist 77mm 1/8 strength diffusion filter. And as you can see, it is after softening on my skin a small little bit, and God, do I need it at this stage of my life. But the other thing is, it's after adding some lovely halation to the light behind me. You can see this bloom around the lighting itself. So it has kind of upped our highlights, it has lowered our contrast, and it has upped our blacks a small little bit. So it gives a very distinct look, and it really adds this cinematic effect. And there we go, back to the whole cinematic effect thing again, but it really does. It looks like something that was a bit more professionally made now, all of a sudden, just by adding that in along. So, and again, if I shot this with a slightly larger depth of field, you will actually still notice the halation on the lighting behind me. So it's, I don't think of the word. It just really does add a lot to your footage. So, so let's show it again without. And again, this is the footage without the diffusion filter. So that was the 1/8 strength black Supermist diffusion filter. The next one we're going to try is the 1/4 strength black Supermist diffusion filter. And this is it now with the 1/4 black Supermist 77mm circle diffusion filter. So you'll see now my skin is after becoming a lot softer. I'm looking a lot better. So I'm happy with that, but maybe it's a bit too much. Light bloom is after increasing our dilation around the lighting too as well. And you can notice our blacks too as well have kind of popped up a small bit. So just going to show how the diffusion filters work. Now again, you might say, look, 1/4 is a bit strong, or oh God, I really love the effect, or 1/8 is a bit strong, or it's a bit too weak. You can mess around with it. And again, as we were saying earlier on, just be aware of the fact that your focal length is also going to have a slight variation on how these diffusion filters work. And again, it's the same with all diffusion filters. So, by the way, I should mention too as well, the Formatt Hitech black Supermist diffusion filters have actually been nominated for Gear of the Year in the Pro Movie Maker magazine. So, like, they really are amazing value for money, and they work incredibly well. Formatt Hitech have a long pedigree in cinematography and in the movie industry, and they just have been producing some absolutely jaw-dropping gear for years. So I suppose, you know, if it's good enough for the likes of the latest Batman movie and Dune and all these other movies that are coming out and Peaky Blinders, this sort of stuff, you know, Star Wars, I think if it's going to be good enough for them with their absolutely massive budgets, it's definitely going to work for me. So yeah, that's basically the black Supermist diffusion filters. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop on the soft silver diffusion filter. But to do that, I'm going to have to use the matte box. So I'm going to pop the matte box onto my camera there now, and we're going to shoot just a couple of seconds of no diffusion, and then we're going to swap over to the soft silver filters. So we're back to no diffusion filter, and all of a sudden I've really realized I need to start shooting with diffusion filters in my vlogs and videos in future, because God, I think my face will thank me for it. So anyway, I have my small rig lightweight matte box, and I'm after putting in the Formatt Hitech soft silver diffusion filter. So we're going to pop that on there now in 2 seconds and see how much of an effect it has in our footage. So this is the Formatt Hitech soft silver 1/8 strength diffusion filter. The next question I guess you're going to ask me is, what's the difference between the soft silver and the black Supermist? Well, the main difference between the soft range and the black Supermist range, and the reason why I say the soft range, because there's soft silver and soft gold. The soft silver mainly affects your highlights. It doesn't affect your blacks quite as much. And the other thing is, it gives you a slightly cooler color tone. So it gives you more sort of a sci-fi, sort of a music video, sort of a feel about the video, about the footage itself. And as I say, you still get the light blue and whatnot above. You still get the softening in the skin tones, but it doesn't affect your blacks in quite the same way. So that's the first thing. Now, there's also the soft gold. And as you may have guessed it, the soft gold is just going to add a slightly warmer color tone. It's going to give you a small bit more of a vintage feel too as well to your footage. As you can see, it is making quite a difference to our footage. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop in the soft gold, which is here, I believe. I'm just going to pop that out. So the soft gold 1/8 is this devil. So we're going to pop that in and we're going to have a look and see how that goes. And so this is the Formatt Hitech soft gold diffusion filter. Now there's a few things you'll notice straight away between the color temperature shift between the soft gold and the soft silver. If you look at our light above, we still have some lovely halation going on. My skin tone has been smoothened down a small bit. The blacks haven't been overly affected, but you'll notice there has been a slight color temperature shift, and it gives it a bit more of sort of a vintage feel about it. So the cooler element in the soft silver is really cool for sci-fi music videos and whatnot, and the soft gold filters give you far more of a sort of a vintage feel to your footage, and again you still get that lovely cinematic effect. So, and obviously again, you can buy these in different strengths. So this is the 1/8. You can get it in 1/4, a half, and 1. So that's basically it. They are the different types of diffusion filters in the different shapes and the different sizes that I have here I can show you. I hope this video has helped you understand how a diffusion filter is going to really help you and help your footage going forward. And yes, there's probably going to be people shouting at me saying, oh my God, I can do that in editing software, I can do that, and I can do that, and I can do that. And you're kind of going, yeah, but do you really want to sit down and do that for hours afterwards in your post-processing? For me, it's always about getting it right in camera first. So if you can just create this effect by simply sliding in a filter, do it. Save yourself the time, save yourself the headache. It's going to make your life an awful lot easier. So I suppose this has really taught me going forward that I need to start using diffusion filters on my own blogs and vlogs and whatnot, because I haven't been using them, and I can quite clear. I'm just peeking over here to the monitor over on the sideline and saying, Jesus, barred lines under my eyes. You can tell I have kids, can't you? But I could just see straight away, wow, that has changed it, right? That really has made quite a huge effect. For this style of video, I prefer the black Supermist. Now, again, you're shooting outdoors and city scenes and things like that. I can see where the soft silver is going to really pop in along. You're shooting more around romantic lighting, more sort of vintage footage. I can see where the soft gold is going to have a huge part to play. So again, this is just a very, very, very basic video on what diffusion filters do. If you have any questions, please do feel free to ask me in the comments down below. And again, as I mentioned at the start, Formatt Hitech have not paid me for this video, but yet they have sponsored both my photography and my cinematography over the years. So I just wanted to say a big thank you, especially to David and Lou in Formatt Hitech. You've been fantastic support to me and I really appreciate it. Now, the other really cool thing is Formatt Hitech have given me a 10% off discount code. So if you're interested in buying filters, use the discount code HAZE10. I'm going to pop it up there somewhere. Use that to give yourself 10% off. And that works in both the USA and it also works on the international website. So that's basically it, everyone. I hope you've seen the difference diffusion filters make, even just to this footage, which is very static and very bland, but you can see straight away how much of a difference it makes, especially to the light above there. So it softens everything. It just makes it look better. And as I say, you still have that detail. So hope the video helps. If you have any thoughts on it, please comment down below. And by the way, if you find yourself watching my videos more and more recently and you're not already subscribed, then please do. That's it, everyone. See you in the next video and see you out there. Thanks again.